It all started with a simple decision. I refused to join the HOA. I had always been against the idea of letting an organization dictate the rules of my property, especially one that I felt had no real authority over how I live my life. But little did I know, this seemingly insignificant choice would set off a chain of events that would change my life forever. It began with small, petty harassment. The HOA sent me numerous fines for trivial matters, like having a mailbox that was too large or not keeping the grass perfectly trimmed. At first, I ignored it, figuring they would eventually get the message. But the harassment only escalated. One day, I returned home to find a notice on my door warning me of imminent consequences if I didn't pay a hefty fine for an imaginary violation. That was the last straw. I refused to comply with their demands, and that's when the HOA crossed a line. One night, as I was sitting in my living room, I noticed a glow outside my window. At first, I thought it was a fire in the distance, but as I stepped outside, I realized it was my house engulfed in flames. My heart sank as I watched the inferno consume everything I had worked so hard for. It was clear the HOA had taken matters into their own hands. I was devastated, but something inside me snapped. This wasn't just an attack on my property, it was an attack on my life. What they didn't know, however, was that I wasn't just any homeowner. I had a past they couldn't have possibly imagined. I wasn't just a regular citizen, I was a feared federal judge who had dealt with high-profile cases involving organized crime, corruption, and even some of the most dangerous criminals in the country. I had always kept my identity private, but this was the moment I realized it was time to reveal who I really was. The moment they found out who I was, the tone shifted. Suddenly, the HOA was in full-blown panic mode. They tried to backpedal, claiming it was all a mistake, but the damage had already been done. I wasn't about to let this slide. I launched a federal investigation into the HOA, and within days, law enforcement was at their doorstep, armed with search warrants and subpoenas. It wasn't long before their entire operation crumbled under the weight of their own illegal activities. In the end, I got justice, but it wasn't just about the fire. It was about showing these people that there were consequences for their actions, and that not even the most powerful HOA could escape the law when it was staring them in the face. The HOA members were arrested, and their illegal practices were exposed to the world. As for me, I rebuilt my home stronger and more resilient than ever, knowing that sometimes standing up for what's right requires more than just defiance. It requires the courage to wield true power when necessary.